Well, thanks very much, Adele. And you're right, that is an absolutely fantastic, great Cork talent there that you have. I'm delighted to hear that voice. What a spectacular voice. I'm joined tonight on the couch with a very, very interesting lady who has changed her life on more than 2 occasions at this stage, has been an inspiration to a lot of businesses, is advising some of the top CEOs in Europe, and did all this about 2 years ago. Also lecturing at UCC, and welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Miss Maeve, let me get this right, because there's a double barrel name
it
here.
Is.
It's Maeve Ahern O'Neill.
It is.
So Maeve, what's your story? You were made redundant?
I was, unfortunately, in 2008, like many, many other people here in Cork and throughout the world. Unfortunately, I was faced with redundancy.
And at that stage you were working with a marketing company?
I was working actually with a book company, so I was sales and marketing manager.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you decided, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next for me?
I took some time off. I had 2 small kids at home at that time anyway, so I decided to take some time off and rear them a bit and kind of decide exactly what I wanted to do then with my own life, basically, make sure that they were okay. So after a while I actually tried a job bridge scheme for a while. That was very rewarding, but unfortunately there was nothing at the end of that. So a springboard program in UCC arose in front of me, and it was a Masters in Digital Humanities. So
explain that to me.
Yes,
digital humanities.
Digital humanities. So it's digital humanities is basically we are learning everything about the digital world, how the digital revolution has actually changed our life, from down to reading online, pop-up ads, to even, let's say, recording something on Sky, anything at all, how our life has changed. Let me put it to you this way as well, even when you're watching TV, do you prefer to watch something?
Well, I only watch CorkLiveTV.
Of course. Yes, of course. But let's say you're watching Game of Thrones. Sorry. Let's say you're watching Game of Thrones. Are you going to record it at 2 o'clock in the morning and watch it the following day? Or are you going to stay up and watch it at 2 o'clock in the morning?
You're going to stream it maybe, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's just the way that we're thinking, the way that we're engaging, the way that our whole life has changed because of digital tools. When I got an iPhone first, I didn't know how to unlock it. I was pressing all the buttons that were on the side of the phone. It was my 3-year-old daughter who just came along so naturally and just went whoosh. And that's the way it's going. They are just growing up with it so fast, it's just second nature to them, whereas somebody like myself, and I'm known as a digital immigrant, still learning as we go.
Well, a digital immigrant, but you've been extremely successful in the last 2 years since you've opened your own business.
Yes.
Which has an extremely quirky name, which is...
It's called The Branding of Me.
The Branding of Me.
The Branding of Me. It's stemming from my Masters in UCC. My thesis was actually based on personal branding. Because when I was made redundant and I went out looking for work in a very small knit marketing communications community here in Cork, nobody knew me from Adam. I was happy out working for the book company, which was actually our family business. So I was happy in that little bubble, but I didn't take the time to actually make it my business for everybody else to know who I was, what I was capable of doing, what my role was, things like that. So when I was made redundant, I started to play around with this thing called Twitter. What's this thing called Twitter? Everybody seems to be on it. And it was a great way to actually get my message out there. Then LinkedIn came along, Facebook to me, and still is to a certain degree, is more personal. I talk to my family in Boston, my friends in Canada, in England, in Australia, so on. But, tools like LinkedIn and Twitter and blogging, I was really able to promote what I could do. So I took that, self-taught skills, brought it then to what I've learned in UCC in Digital Humanities, and developed this course where people can learn how to brand themselves.
You developed this into a master's yourself, so you wrote your master's.
I wrote my master's, my thesis on this.
On the branding of me?
Yes.
So hence the company came
Hence the company. What happened was, during my research, I put the call out throughout UCC if people would like to attend a workshop, just so I can get a feel of what people thought about social media, what they thought about personal branding. Like anybody at all, if you think of branding, you automatically think of a product. Mm-hmm. When people say, well, we're not products, we're people. And that is very, very true. So I wanted to kind of get the idea of what people thought about it. And after that, what happened, I had numerous people coming to me saying, Maeve, can you help me develop my own online persona? Because what it basically is that you're controlling your own reputation. So they wanted to come to me and ask, how do I use Twitter, productively? How do I set up my LinkedIn? How do I start a website or a blog? It's so easy to do so now. Then one of my lecturers, Mike Cosgrave, who I have so much to thank for, and Orla Murphy up there, Maeve, you're onto something. Don't let it go. Just keep going. So I researched more into how business can use it, because at the end of the day, no business has been set up without the people behind it. So it's basically allowing people to tell their story. Like how I'm sitting here today and I'm telling you my story. You have a story. PJ has a story. Gary has a story. Everybody here tonight actually has a story. So everybody has a story to tell. You might think that it's a boring story, but it's not. It's interesting to somebody. And that's what people want to, show. And of course, there is that fear of social media. There is that fear that you would put something out there that you don't want to be putting out there. But the great thing about personal branding is that you are taking control of your own identity online.
I suppose the difficulty that a lot of people have with social media is the backlash that can all of a sudden happen.
Absolutely.
Very, very quickly for some silly, stupid mistake that you can make. So by going to somebody like yourself, who is going to explain exactly how Brand Me works.
Yeah.
Like, I come in, I walk in the door, I either have a company or I want to brand myself to get myself a job as a CEO somewhere. I want to brand myself as a doctor, as a dentist, whatever profession I'm in, and I want to rebrand myself. I come to you and you do what?
You're not rebranding yourself, you are who you are. That's one thing I'd say to you. But the first thing that I do is I actually conduct an audit of that person, which anybody can do actually. You can, as I call it, a self-audit. Clear the browser, maybe go onto somebody else's computer and search your own name. It's very important to actually search your own name and see what comes up.
I would be afraid.
But you need to know, because you don't want to leave it in the hands of somebody else to be talking about you. So it's very important to actually do that. So what you need to do then is, or what I actually do then is I just have a look as to see exactly what they have already online about them. In some cases there's nothing there, but if there's nothing there, then people might ask, then why not?
So what can somebody do if there's some story that is miscellaneous or is not really connected to you or is not very nice about you? How do you change that brand? Or how do you
It's very hard to get rid of
ownership of that.
Well, I have actually quite a number of clients that has been the case for. And there's two ways to go about it. You can actually ask Google to take something down. It takes time and you have to be a bit, really persevere with that. That's one option. But the other option is that you actually start becoming more active online. So let's think about it this way. I search your name online. Will you really go on to page 2 to see what's on there? So the more active that you are online, then if you're active on LinkedIn, if you have a website, anything like that, the more active you are, the higher up in a search result that will be. So anything that's negative, anything that you don't want to be seen, that will then, not unfortunately, but great, get pushed down to maybe the second page or the third page. So the more active that you are and the more control that you actually have over your own online presence, then that will help. So that's what I do, as well as I have a look and I see exactly areas that need work on. Everybody's different, so their audience is going to be different. So that's also very important to be aware of. Where is your audience?
And everybody that comes to you wants to achieve a certain thing, whether it's whether it's a politician comes to you, whether it's a businessman comes to you, whether it's a
job seeker, anybody at all. Yeah. So there's, that's the great thing about social media. There's something there for everybody. If you're in let's say the beauty business or into something that's quite visual, Instagram and now their Instagram stories is very, very good, and it's a great impact on that as well. Somebody from like myself in business, when I started up first, actually I found Twitter amazing, and even for my own research and the use of hashtags on Twitter. The amount of information I was able to gather from that was just enormous, and it really opened my eyes about how we can share information on Twitter. Facebook then can be more personal, but you can set up a Facebook page because particular audiences would be there, for that. LinkedIn is a must for everybody. You cannot discount LinkedIn. But the way that you might speak on LinkedIn would then be more professional than you would, let's say, on Facebook. So you have to be careful in how you speak as well online.
And that's the key, because I find there are times that you look at people's tweets or Facebook messages or what they've put up there, and it can be quite vicious. It can be quite
It can.
nasty.
It can.
It can be very offensive.
Yes.
And sometimes you meet these people on the street, and they're
Yeah.
the nicest people you could ever meet. You can't
Yeah.
believe this came out of their mouth. You know?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I was actually really talking to Gary about this earlier on, and our kids are around the same age. And my daughter would be on social media as well. And we were talking about, some instances, it's an all-girls school that she goes to. And, how vicious they can actually be online. But then they wouldn't dare say it to them on the schoolyard. But adults are exactly the same. Exactly the same. When I came out first and I was promoting the importance of having a blog, for example, and one person in particular was saying, why am I having all these people asking me about blogs? Blogs are just for, sharing recipes, or just for, kind of hobbies and things like that. Why is this person now going on about a blog? And then a year later, I see that they're actually now have a blog and they're doing very well from it. So, you can never discount something without trying it anyway.
So what's your advice to somebody at the moment? I want to get an online presence. I want to be known for whatever reason. Is it blogging? Should be the first.
I think a blog or a website. There's so many different platforms that you can use, like website or like a WordPress or Medium or Squarespace. Very, very cheap to actually get up and running. WordPress can be done for free, and a good website, and actually have that kind of blog there. What I say to an awful lot of clients with the branding of me is that decide where your home is going to be. Your home is going to be the place where your audience can really see all parts of your professional persona. You can really kind of really shine in these places. I mean, you can be. As I said earlier on as well, people love to hear people's stories. And I find even on my own website, and even though it's a business website, my blog is actually what people read first. And then they have a little nosy around to see who I am, where I'm coming from, my own story, and that's what people want to kind of see as well, is the blog. So I think it's important to decide where your home is. So then, if it's going to be a blog or a business website or whatever, that's fine. You can even have LinkedIn as your home if you so wish, and kind of share articles, or even post articles up there as well, and make your connections. And then have all the other things like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter as stems off that as well, because then you're just making connections in different areas. So it's important to actually decide, because it's time consuming. It can be very time consuming, and people ask me that all the time. I don't have the time to set up a brand. You actually do. It's so easy. Take out the phone, take out the laptop, 10 minutes in between, making the cup of tea, waiting for the kettle to boil. Just check your Instagram or check your Twitter. Engage with somebody online. Don't just like and share. Actually, you have an opinion, so share that. If I actually put up a blog post today, so if you'd like to share and comment on that, please do. But that's what I like to hear. I like to hear what people's opinions are. You don't have to be nasty about it, but I just like to hear opinions, because everybody has an opinion and everybody has a story.
So who are your type of clients? Who's
My-
coming to you, and who's saying, brand me?
I have not one client has been the same as the next. It's just wonderful, because I have people, students in UCC. UCC themselves asked me to come in and lecture to their undergrads and postgrads, because they want the students to be aware of their own online persona and what it can do for them. Job seekers, people who want to progress in their career, want to go for that promotion. Promotions are coming, now the economy is beginning to get rolling again. There are opportunities out there. Middle managers, high-end managers, even CEOs of big companies have come to me. And then what's happened as well, I've had great clients like Hewlett-Packard and VMware come to me, and I've actually trained their team members how they can bring personal branding in stream for their own team. So how their own use of LinkedIn or Twitter can actually help not only a personal brand, but the business brand.
An established, well-known business brand.
Absolutely, because an awful lot of businesses realise that social media cannot be ignored, but they need to control the social media presence of their employees as well, because it can have a huge impact on business and how their business can be seen online.
So you're going into companies and training them what they should be saying on their LinkedIn account, on their Facebook account, and
the employees, yes.
The employees.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ethics and conduct, really.
Yes,
Isn't it?
Yes,
very
and policy, social media policy and things like that.
Good
So
stuff.
it's
And the
great.
business is going well for you?
It is 2 years now in October. I'll be up and running.
2 years going from redundant to being unemployed,
Yeah.
to job seekers, and of course you opened this business on a funding scheme from social welfare. Right?
Yes, I was, because I was on social welfare, and that's why I was able to do my master's under the Springboard programme, which I'd highly recommend anybody to actually look at springboardcourses.ie.
I believe you have you have some people that are very, very proud of you at home as well.
I have 2 young girls who are very proud of me at home, so they keep telling me, Orla and Danielle. Yeah, last year Orla's 11 and Danielle's 9, and last year Orla was in 5th class, and she had to do a project on the person who would influence her the most. And she thought long and hard about it over 5 minutes. And she said, Mom, I'll do it on you. And like, was trying to kind of not cry, because I don't cry. No, I was like, not cry. And I said, well, why would you do it on me? There's so many other people that you could do it on. And she said, but you inspire me, Mom, and you show me, you know, how important social media is, but, you know, and you show me how to kind of really be confident, and how girls can come up from nothing and really kind of make things work, you know, and just keep fighting, and don't let anybody put you down. And if they try to put you down, then just let it work for you even more and build you up even more. So at 11, that was a lovely thing to hear.
Absolutely.
And,
it's very important to hear it from your own kids. But
it is.
But
yeah.
it is a lovely thing to hear. But it is a true thing. She spoke the truth. You
She
know, you are a
did.
great inspiration to turn your life around from going from redundancy back to work schemes, into college, making being a master student to then going on and lecturing students.
Yes, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and UCC have been great and very supportive.
How can people at home get in contact with you that want to brand themselves, or have an idea, want to promote themselves, want to get ahead, want to change their lives a small bit, draw on your inspiration perhaps tonight? How do they get in contact with you?
The best way to go is to thebrandingofme.ie.
Thebrandingofme.ie.
Yes, and I'm on, if you want to search The Branding of Me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I'm wherever, I'm there.
Oh.
So send me an email, send me a text.
So you're all over social media?
I'm obviously with the job, kind of have to be. So.
And it's Maeve Ahern O'Neill.
It is.
That's an easy one to remember. That's all we have time for. But thank you so much, Maeve, for coming in.
Thank you
really
very much.
enjoyed it. You're a great inspiration, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And it's brandme.ie.
Thebrandingofme.ie. You'll remember it.
I will, because I want you to have a look at my LinkedIn. Okay, we're going over to Edel, who has an absolutely fascinating influencer to chat to next.